Man United can sign Carlos Baleba alternative for cut price transfer fee. But there's a risk, man. United are desperate to sign a midfielder ahead of the transfer window slamming shut. But financing a deal for Carlos Baleba could be a bridge too. George is a senior football writer for the Manchester Evening News, mostly covering Manchester United. He previously worked for Football.London before joining the men team in July 2021. As well as covering United, George is a championship enthusiast and co-hosts the Championship Chat, which you can find on all major podcast platforms. After spending almost $200 million already this summer, it remains to be seen just how deep Manchester United's pockets really are. Following a forgettable 2024-25 campaign, United have been left with no choice but to spend big in this summer's transfer market to improve head coach Ruben Amorim's squad. Diego Leon has arrived from Cerro Porteño for 3.3. Matheus Cunha has joined the club from Wolves for 62.5. Brian Mbeumo has checked in from Brentford for 65 matters, and Benjamin Sesko has arrived from RB Leipzig for 66.4 matters. Considering United are yet to oversee a single sale this summer, it is fair to say they have done pretty well. And there is still a thirst for more additions. With just over 2 weeks of the window remaining, United still want to sign a midfielder and possibly a goalkeeper. Their midfield has been a problem position for many years, and they are still on the hunt for a long-term solution. It has been well documented recently that Brighton and Hove Albion ace Carlos Baleba has attracted United's attention. The Cameroonian has made rapid progress since joining the Seagulls from Lille 2 years ago, establishing himself as one of the most highly rated midfielders in the business, capable of providing plenty of energy, winning the ball back, driving forward with the ball and offering a varied passing range. Baleba ticks a plethora of boxes. United need a midfielder who is capable of doing a little bit of everything in the engine room. Brighton, of course, are the masters of finding hidden gems, developing them, and selling them on for a handsome profit. It is a sustainable model that consistently delivers results in Baleba. The Seagulls believe they have discovered the real deal. He has been excellent since joining the club in August 2023, so much so some reports have claimed Brighton will demand north of 100 million to consider selling him this summer. Although United could still bring in a percentage of the reported fee Brighton are set to demand via player sales, amid their hunger to sell Tyrell Malacia, Jadon Sancho, Alejandro Garnacho, and Antony before the deadline, it feels unlikely the club will be able to meet the Seagulls' demands. Despite the increasing probability that Garnacho will join Chelsea, no club has stepped forward with an offer to sign Malacia, Sancho, or Antony on a permanent basis. Sancho and Antony both look increasingly likely to leave on loan instead. With that in mind, United might have to look elsewhere for a suitable midfielder. Although the Reds have preferred to try and target Premier League proven players this summer, there is still a chance they could explore the overseas market. And one option they could turn to is Feyenoord midfielder Quinton Timber. The Dutchman has less than a year remaining on his existing contract, meaning the Eredivisie outfit could be open to a cut-price sale. Timber, whose twin brother, Jurien, plays for Arsenal, has a similar profile to Baleba in the sense he is a dynamic midfield operator capable of getting on the ball in the center of the park and driving his team up the pitch. He is also press-resistant and can have an impact in both defensive and offensive situations. United lack a sense of mobility in midfield, particularly in possession, and Timber can provide that trait. The 24-year-old is renowned for his energy, output, and ability to drive forward with the ball at his feet. However, his recent injury record will generate cause for concern. He suffered a serious knee injury in February, and that forced him to miss the remainder of the 2024-25 season, meaning he finished last season with just 26 appearances to his name. Timber previously suffered from a knee problem during the 2022-23 campaign, forcing him to miss around 2 months' worth of action in the second half of the campaign. With a knee issue threatening to become a familiar problem for the Dutchman, That will be something for prospective suitors to bear in mind. But if he can remain fit, just as he did for the vast majority of the 2023-24 season, there is an exciting player waiting to go up through the gears. In addition to being a brilliant ball carrier, Timber can also flex his muscles in attacking sense, highlighted by his tally of 18 goals and 13 assists for Feyenoord Man United caught in transfer shakeup as surprise Liverpool swap deal emerges Manchester. United have been linked with a move for Crystal Palace's Adam Wharton, but could be left empty-handed by Chelsea, and Liverpool-Manchester United's pursuit of Crystal Palace's Adam Wharton could be influenced by the transfer activities of their rivals. Ruben Amorim's squad are considering midfield options after bringing in 3 forwards this summer. Striker Benjamin Sesko is set to lead a revamped United attack, supported by fellow newcomers Bryan Mbeumo and Matheus Cunha. United have shown interest in Brighton midfielder Carlos Baleba, but the Seagulls' hefty $100 million asking price has reportedly led the club to consider Palace ace Wharton as an alternative. However, United's chances of landing Wharton could hinge on the futures of Palace's other star players, Marc Guehi and Ebereki Eze. The Independent reports that United have earmarked Wharton as a potential substitute for Baleba due to the latter's price tag exceeding $100 million. Yet, it's suggested that the Eagles might demand even more for Wharton if they decide to part ways with England pair Guehi and Eze. Liverpool have set their sights on Guehi to strengthen Arne Slot's defensive lineup. The 25-year-old is in the last year of his contract, and Liverpool hope to secure the center-back for $35 million, while Palace are believed to be holding out for $40 million, reports the Manchester Evening News. However, Guehi's circumstances have potentially become more complex due to Palace's pursuit of midfielder Harvey Elliott, whom Liverpool rate at the same fee. The Sun reports that the prospect of a swap deal featuring Guehi and Elliott hasn't been dismissed, which could scupper United's ambitions of securing a deal for Wharton. There had been optimism that Guehi might remain at Palace this season, which could have made the Eagles more receptive to entertaining bids for Wharton. Nevertheless, the club are reluctant to allow the defender to depart on a free transfer next summer. Their pursuit of Elliott presents Liverpool with an opportunity to arrange a swap deal after their initial bid for the center-back was reportedly significantly below Palace's asking price. After the club's Community Shield triumph last weekend, Palace chairman Steve Parish commented, "Players come and go in football clubs, you know. I mean, it's a life cycle, isn't it? Hopefully they're still here. That's what I'd like, but we'll see." Meanwhile, Palace are reportedly weighing up a move for Elliott as a potential successor to Eze, who has caught the eye of Arsenal and Tottenham Hotspur. Palace's talisman carries a 68 meters release clause that is said to expire on Friday. Should Palace part with just one of Eze or Guehi, the club might be more inclined to consider bids for Wharton. However, if both Guehi and Eze depart, they'll be even less willing to discuss terms for Wharton and will find themselves in a robust financial position should transfer fees be secured for the duo. The 21-year-old has garnered widespread praise since his move to Selhurst Park from Blackburn Rovers in February 2024, although injury setbacks hampered his campaign last term, limiting him to just 20 league outings. The defensive midfielder shares the same age as Baleba, who has likewise made his mark in the Premier League since his switch to Brighton from Lille 2 years ago. Brighton boss Fabian Hürzeler dismissed speculation that Baleba was set to depart. The club, after he sat out their friendly against Wolfsburg due to a minor knee problem. "He trained today, he trained yesterday," Hürzeler explained. "So we don't want to take any risks, but he will be back." United are eager to bolster their midfield ranks ahead of the new season. Amorim largely depended on Manuel Ugarte, Casemiro, and Kobbie Mainoo in the engine room during the previous campaign.